Okay, let's dive in. Try and picture this for a second.
Yeah.
You've got an older guy, maybe early 80s, right? He's on this motorcycle, really beat up, kind of rusty, sitting at a stoplight.
Mm-hmm.
It's loud, definitely seen better days, and then, bam, police lights flashing in his mirror.
Yeah.
Two younger officers get out, and you can feel the vibe change instantly.
Oh, yeah. The judgment is almost immediate, isn't it?
Totally. Their body language, how they look at him, his age, the old bike, the assumptions just start clicking into place. You feel that tension right away.
And that moment, it's so telling. It shows just how fast we build a whole story about someone from like almost nothing, just visual cues.
Appearance becomes everything.
And as the source we're looking at shows, that story we cook up, it's often completely off base.
Exactly. And that's what we're digging into today. We've got this really compelling source material. It's titled The Veteran and the Harley, isn't it? So our mission here for this deep dive is to unpack this story. We want to pull out the key takeaways, understand all the different layers of what happened in this encounter.
And really see what it tells us about those snap judgments, about respect, and, the incredible stuff people carry inside that we just don't see.
Right. In this deep dive, it's really designed for you listening in. We want to give you the core insights from this powerful story quickly and clearly.
So the source sets the scene really well. It starts with the man himself, James Harris. He's 82, lives out on a small farm, maybe 10 miles or so from town.
And right away, the narrative points out these key things about him. Like, his discipline is incredible, gets up at 5 a.m. for 40 years.
Wow, 40 years. That's dedication.
Yeah. And it doesn't just say he's disciplined. It shows he's really capable, too. It mentions his old tractor, a John Deere from 78, had a hydraulic problem. And Harris, because he spent like 42 years fixing machines, he knew exactly which part was busted.
So he's not just old. He's presented as this guy defined by routine, by skill, by this practical hands-on knowledge.
And then there's the bike.
The Harley. A 1970 shovelhead, the source says.
And it makes a point about how it looks. Yeah, it's old, definitely rusty.
Yeah.
But for Harris, what matters is that it works.
Functionality is key for him. It runs, it gets him around.
That's it.
And the sound, the source describes it as this loud, like thunder kind of roar.
Right. It's old, noisy, imperfect on the surface.
Which is exactly what everyone, including those cops, reacts to first.
But here's where the source really starts to flip things on their head. It tells us, despite his age, despite the bike, Harris rides better than guys in their 20s.
How? Because his reflexes are still incredibly sharp. Decades of military training, apparently.
Yeah, and this constant sort of situational awareness that's just baked in.
And that detail, it just forces you to rethink that first judgment, doesn't it?
Totally.
The source even points it out. How often do we just write someone off based on how they look? We miss all the skills, the history, everything underneath.
It mentions the irony, too.
Yeah.
Sometimes the people with the most teach us look like they have nothing to say.
Such a powerful observation.
So, okay, scene set. Harris is at the red light, town entrance, near the gas station. That Harley's rumbling away. Then the flashing lights.
Two officers get out. Officer Ava Johnson, she's 28, 3 years on the force, described as walking confidently, mirrored sunglasses.
Yeah, Officer David Lopez joins her. Johnson's attitude, according to the source, is immediate skepticism. Like, is this some kind of joke? She actually asks.
Wow, right off the bat.
Yeah, and the bans are instant. Dismissive. Shut off that junk, Johnson tells him.
That junk. Jeez.
Then license and registration. But the source describes Harris as just, incredibly calm, stays still on the bike, hands steady, eyes looking straight ahead.
Takes out his documents from this worn old wallet.
Yeah. And the judgment about his age, it's right there. Johnson sees the license, 82 years old, looks suspicious.
And Lopez apparently grins, points out the rust, says the bike's older than his dad. Open mockery.
And then we can do the search. Hands on the bike, feet apart.
And the source is clear here. The officers knew it wasn't necessary.
Right. They just did it anyway. It adds this layer of deliberate humiliation.
And while this is going on, people are starting to watch. A crowd forms.
Murmurs from the onlookers.
Yeah.
The source mentions it's kind of split. Some feel sorry for him, poor old man.
Others are judging too, maybe thinking, he does look kind of confused. Some even suggest calling his family, reinforcing that idea that he's helpless.
The questioning starts, and it's all focused on his age, his perceived vulnerability. Where do you live? On a farm nearby. Do you live alone? Alone.
And the source says Johnson and Lopez exchanged this glance like...
Yep, another confused old man. That's the vibe.
They really push on the age and writing thing. Is it safe for you to be on this bike? Do you have family to look after you? You could cause an accident?
It's framed like concern, but you can feel the judgment underneath, right?
Absolutely. The source makes that clear.
So how's Harris taking all this?
Initially, he's silent, still looking out at the horizon, hands behind his back. Then he takes this deep breath.
And the source gives us this amazing internal detail he's thinking about, how he faced far worse situations 50 years ago.
Wow. Puts this whole thing in perspective for him, but
But he still feels it. The source says he feels like just another old man being humiliated in public.
that's rough. After whatever life he's lived, to be reduced to that.
And the officers? They're getting annoyed by his silence. Johnson raises her voice. Lopez whispers maybe he's deaf.
So they yell louder. Great approach.
It escalates fast. Johnson says he has to come to the station. Inappropriate behavior, failure to properly respond.
On what grounds, really?
Exactly. And then she drops the big one. He needs a medical evaluation before even thinking about riding that motorcycle again.
A medical evaluation for what? Riding while old.
Pretty much. And this is when Harris finally speaks, calmly asks, and what for?
Good question.
And the source says Johnson actually pauses here. She kind of realizes, wait, there isn't actually a law for this. You can't just detain an old guy for riding an old bike or force a psyche out for no reason.
But she's stuck, right? The source says she feels she's in too deep.
Yeah, people are watching, filming. Backing down now looks bad, admits she messed up.
So she doubles down.
Yep, starts throwing out vague stuff. Elder protection law? Behavior that puts his own safety at risk.
Justifications after the fact.
And the source notes Harris gives this tiny, almost invisible smile. He knows it's a lie. He's heard worse, apparently.
Incredible composure.
So things look pretty bad for Harris here. He's cornered.
Yeah.
But then, the turning point.
Across the street at the gas station, Marcus, the owner, he's watching.
Source says he's 58, a Gulf War vet himself. And crucially, he knows James Harris. Harris has been getting gas there for 15 years. Always polite, always kind.
So Marcus sees this whole thing, the disrespect, and the source says his blood boils.
He decides to do something. He calls the military base nearby, Fort Carson.
Tells them what's happening. A fellow vet being disrespected, gives the name, James Harris, 82, says he's an honest man being humiliated.
And the call takes this wild turn. The officer on the other end hears James Harris. And suddenly, the tone completely changes.
Oh, how so?
Urgent. Tells Marcus, keep your eyes on the situation. We're sending a unit right now. Do not let them do anything to Colonel Harris until we arrive.
Colonel Harris.
Bingo. The source really emphasizes that word. Marcus is floored. 15 years, and Harris never mentioned being a colonel.
Wow. Just wow.
Meanwhile, back at the scene, Johnson's still pushing. She decides he needs that psych evil now. Get in the vehicle, she orders. Hospital for evaluation.
Refuses. Just says, I'm not going.
Johnson insists it's an order. Harris calmly asks again, based on what law?
Johnson threatens to use force. Marcus is watching, feeling this admiration for Harris's unbelievable courage.
Stands his ground.
Yeah. The crowd feels it too. Tension's high. Something's about to break.
And then it does. You hear it first, the source says. This deep rumble of engines. Lots of them.
And then you see them, 12 Humvees. They come speeding around the corner, kick up dust, stop in this perfect semicircle.
50 soldiers get out.
50.
And out of the lead Humvee comes Captain George Farrell. 55 years old, 22 years active service.
And he walks straight past the local cops, right?
Directly to Harris. Stops about 3 meters away, snaps this sharp salute.
And says,
Colonel Harris. The source says the words hit like a grenade.
I bet Johnson and Lopez must be panicking.
Full panic mode. Farrell turns to them, eyes like blades, the source says. Asks them straight up, who dared to stop Colonel Harris?
Oof, direct hit.
Johnson tries to stammer out an explanation. Officer Johnson, local police, we stopped this gentleman. But Farrell just cuts her off.
Doesn't want to hear it.
And then this really powerful moment, all 50 soldiers take one synchronized step forward, like this silent, solid wall of support.
Wow. That sends a message.
Then Farrell just lays it out. Colonel Harris's service record. 3 tours in Vietnam, intelligence ops in the Gulf, Afghanistan. Personally trained hundreds of officers, including Farrell himself.
He lists the medals.
Oh, yeah. 2 Bronze Stars, 2 Purple Hearts with 4 oak leaf clusters, a Distinguished Service Cross. Calls him a living legend.
A living legend being hassled over a rusty bike.
Farrell turns that right back on Johnson. Tells her she just disrespected a decorated war hero who gave 60 years of his life to the country.
What does Lopez say? Anything.
He tries the "we were just doing our job" line. Weak.
Yeah, Farrell shoots that down fast.
Instantly. Your job is to protect and serve, not to humiliate an old man in public. Boom.
How's the crowd reacting now?
Complete 180. Still filming, but now it's with respect, awe. The comments changed completely. Poor guy. That was awful. That officer crossed a line.
The tide has turned.
Big time. Johnson, totally humbled, steps forward. Sir, Colonel Harris, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
And what does the colonel say?
He offers her advice. Gently, but directly. Officer Johnson, never judge someone by their appearance. You have no idea what battles they fought, what scars they carry inside.
Wow. That's the core lesson right there, isn't it? The source says everyone felt that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Captain Farrell asks if the colonel needs anything, an escort, a ride.
Harris says no.
Declines politely. Thanks, Farrell and the soldiers. Farrell says, we'll always be here. Always. Simple, powerful.
So Harris just leaves.
Walks back to his Harley. Starts it up that loud roar again, but it sounds different now, you know.
Carries a different weight.
And the final image of that scene. The 50 soldiers standing in formation, creating this corridor of honor as Colonel Harris rides away on his old bike.
What an image. From humiliation to a corridor of honor.
Incredible reversal. But wait, there's a bit more. The aftermath is important too, according to the source.
Okay, what happens next?
An hour later, Sheriff Smith gets a call from Captain Farrell. Sheriff's 52, been in office 15 years.
He knows about the incident.
Yeah, he's talked to Johnson and Lopez. His initial take, the source says, is kind of like, okay, mistaking judgment, poor handling, but not a crime. He knows Johnson, thinks she's usually dedicated.
So what does Farrell say?
He's careful. Makes it clear Colonel Harris isn't out for revenge, not suing, doesn't want heads to roll. But
military as an institution, they cannot accept our veterans being treated this way.
Ah, okay. So it's institutional pressure now.
Exactly. The source mentions the political weight, the potential consequences for the sheriff's department. It's bigger than just this one incident.
Does Farrell suggest anything?
Yeah, he proposes a solution, a training program for the officers held at the military base, developed with them.
Focused on what?
Focused on understanding what it truly means to serve this country, getting beyond the surface level.
And the sheriff agrees.
Immediately. It'll be done. No hesitation.
So real change comes from this.
It seems so. A week later, Sheriff Smith holds an emergency meeting with all officers, announces a new field encounter protocol and the mandatory training at Fort Carson.
Does Officer Johnson say anything?
She does. The source says she stands up, looks nervous, but admits publicly she made a serious mistake. Says she disrespected a man who deserved admiration.
That takes courage.
Yeah, but she goes further. Says she learned something more important than rules and regs. She learned about human dignity. Her realization, as the source puts it, every person we stop on the street carries a story. She says the new protocol is about treating everyone, especially the elderly, with respect, asking before assuming, listening before judging.
So the bad encounter directly led to a policy shift.
Seems like it. And then there's one final scene, a quieter one.
Okay.
Days later, Officer Johnson drives out to Colonel Harris's farm. Simple place, well kept. White house, porch, garden, the tractor, the Harley.
She's going to see him personally.
Yeah. The source says her heart is pounding. She finds him working under the tractor, fixing that hydraulic system, grease-stained coverall.
Calls him Colonel Harris.
He slides out, wipes his hands, greets her politely. She asks if she can talk.
What does he say?
Offers her coffee, just made a fresh pot. Invites her into his kitchen.
Simple setting described.
Yeah, blue ceramic mugs, old wooden table. Very modest for a man with his history.
What do they talk about?
Harris asks her some questions. Gentle, but probing. Why did you become a cop?
Her answer.
Wanted to help people, make a difference. Sincere.
Okay.
Then he asks, in her experience, how many accidents has she actually seen caused by elderly drivers?
And the answer is
very few, she admits. Most are younger drivers, drunk, speeding, texting.
Setting her up.
Gently. Then he asks the killer question with a little smile. Then why did you assume I was the problem?
Ouch. What does she say?
She can't answer. The source says the truth was too obvious and too painful.
Yeah, that cuts deep.
Harris gives a final thought, looking out his window. Says respect isn't about the uniform or rank. It's earned by how you treat people, regardless of age.
And Johnson.
She looks out the Harley, and it hits her. He's ridden that bike longer than she's been alive. It's old, rusty, but it works. It gets him places.
It still has roads to travel.
Exactly. That's the phrase the source uses. The bike still had roads to travel. And then the final line, Colonel Harris still had roads to travel.
Yeah.
So do all of us.
Wow. Okay, so let's bring it back to the listener. What are the big takeaways for you from this story, the veteran and the Harley?
Well, I mean, it's more than just don't judge a book by its cover, right? The source really shows how those instant judgments about age, appearance, how they can just blind you.
Blind you to incredible depth history.
Exactly. And it shows how quickly prejudice can slide into actual humiliation,
Yep.
the way the story unfolds with that big reveal. It kind of forces you, as the listener, to confront your own potential for making those same snap judgments.
Right alongside the characters,
Mhm.
it's a potent reminder that everyone, absolutely everyone, has hidden stories, dignity we can't see just by looking.
It really hammers home the value of just basic human respect, taking a beat, asking questions instead of jumping to conclusions, listening, really listening before you decide you know who someone is.
And it shows something else, too, that even a really negative situation, one fueled by bias, can lead to change. Personal growth, like for Officer Johnson, but also systemic change, like the new training protocols.
Yeah, that institutional response is key. So this story leaves us with a pretty important question for you to think about.
Which is,
How often in your own life, maybe without even realizing it, do you make assumptions about people based on how they look, or how old they seem, or what they're wearing?
the hidden stories, what incredible depth might you be missing? And the older person at the checkout, the quiet coworker, even someone you only interact with online.
How can you maybe work on developing that habit of curiosity, of respect, that instinct to look beyond the surface and find the extraordinary that's often hidden in seemingly ordinary people?
That's definitely something worth thinking about long after this deep dive ends.